Joining us now is a member of the House Oversight Committee, Democratic Congresswoman Melanie Stansbury from New Mexico. I really appreciate you, especially coming on today as you're awaiting those documents. Is there a sense yet of what the estate will be providing the committee?
Yes, good morning. So we are expecting the estate to produce documents that House Democrats forced a vote to subpoena, which includes non-disclosure agreements, the infamous birthday book, the plea agreement that was made with Acosta, financial transactions, and literally any document that is implicated in any form in sex trafficking or the crimes that Epstein was convicted of. But, you know, I think we have to also accept the reality that his estate is being managed by the same individuals who were also involved in both the financial and sex trafficking crimes that he has been convicted of. And so I think in the same way that the Department of Justice and the president have been engaging in a cover-up in collusion with Congress, we are expecting documents to be produced compliant with the subpoena, but, you know, we're going to have to continue to dig and follow every lead.
So I just want to make sure I understand you, Congresswoman. Are you suggesting that what you get may be sanitized compliance?
Well, we'll see what they produce this afternoon. There are attorneys on both sides of the aisle from the committee traveling to New York City today to look at the underlying documents that will be transmitted electronically, because you are allowed to redact for the protection of minors and for the victims. But we want to make sure that all of the documents that are available are produced, but we also don't know if documents have been destroyed. We don't know what in its entirety the federal government has its hands on. So there's still a lot of digging to be done.
So do you have a sense yet of which of these documents might best help push the investigation forward?
You know, I think, as you just mentioned in your interview last week, we're being told by the attorneys and the survivors to follow the money. And, you know, the exhaustive look into J.P. Morgan this morning in the New York Times is important, but we also know that Deutsche Bank and other international banks were involved in the financial transactions. And I just want to make something very clear. This is about crimes, corruption, collusion, and a massive global cover-up. This is not a few isolated events. We're talking about hundreds, if not thousands, of young women who were trafficked, not just in the United States, but across borders. We're talking about immigration fraud, as you said, fake marriages. I mean, this is a massive case that involves actors that are far beyond just Epstein and his immediate employees. It involves financial institutions, potentially foreign governments and actors. And I think it's very clear. I mean, let me just say this. I did not have it on my bingo card that members of Congress would be using the tools of Congress to shield pedophiles from accountability. And why the Speaker of the House and the President of the United States are engaging in a cover-up to stop these files from being released by the Department of Justice, I think behooves of us to continue to track down every lead we can until we can expose to the public what is in those files, and accountability and potentially prosecutions can be had.
So if you do get some financial records today, what is the likelihood there will be more subpoenas to follow the money? What could that roadmap look like? And did you get some guidance when you had those survivors for a couple of hours, I think, of conversations?
Absolutely. I mean, it's all in the financial records, and what has not yet seen the light of day in the public eye is who was receiving and transmitting those financial transfers. And so we'll see what the estate produces today, but we will absolutely be following with further subpoenas. The committee has already asked for financial statements from the Treasury Department, but we do expect to hopefully also subpoena bank records from various banks that were involved in other financial institutions.
As someone who has had access to both documents and conversations with people that the public who was asking for answers have not, it struck me as you were talking about a situation that was massive and global, involving hundreds, if not thousands, of teenagers and young women. Have you even been able to wrap your mind around how it got to that place?
Yeah, I mean, I think part of why this case is continuing to be in the public eye is because it speaks to a larger reality, which is that the systems that are supposed to serve the public good, the government, the justice system, the financial institutions, were colluding in this massive global sex trafficking scheme. And there's been a continued cover-up for at least 3 decades to shield the rich and powerful from accountability. And it was literally at the expense of the bodies, the minds, and the lives of hundreds, if not thousands, of young women. And I think for anyone who is a survivor of sexual violence or abuse, you know what it means to experience that kind of assault on your body and your life. And so this is bigger than just, as I said, a few isolated incidents. This is about radical accountability for perpetrators of sex crimes and for a large-scale cover-up that has implicated every part of our government and rich and powerful people who, frankly, need to go down.
And really, really quick, it's almost 12:30 here on the East Coast. Do you have a sense of when you might get this documentation?
We're still waiting for the documents to be transmitted, but we certainly will let the public know as soon as they are.
Congresswoman Melanie Stansbury, thank you for your time. Appreciate it.